So back to my rant again. I am right. Maybe sometimes these things that I do here are a bit better than just a rant, and I've just shared a video that probably most precisely describes the freedom in terms of economics and things a bit better than what I might do. But I'm also going to provide a wee example, a little example on how strength, while thinking only inside a box, uh, is in fact a weakness, right? So before I'll get into that, I'll first get into how I get very upset whenever I hear liberal this, liberal that, and it's got something to do with like socialism, and to me it doesn't really make sense, because originally I used to speak in a Latin based language. It was also francophonic, and yeah, um, yeah, the original language, Romanian, being it actually shares a lot of other languages, a lot of other languages, including a very small portion Slavic as well, but it's very small. For most part, it's Latin and francophone, like kind of like French as well. So when you come to the word liberty, liberty, it's almost replaceable and interchangeable, changeable with freedom. You're free to go. You got liberty, liberty, go. Do whatever you want. All right, obviously without trespassing on others, because then you're then you're robbing others from their liberty, from their freedom. So, yeah, even in the national anthem, there is a big emphasis on that that type of specific freedom. Not constantly being censored and all of this. So how could these people, like, how much is everyone getting gaslit? At least if they were to add something to it, uh, demo liberalism or something. Yeah, then it would make some sense. Why should we have to add classical, to liberalism if we're gonna use some of the concepts from the politic? At the end of the day, is a word. A word has a meaning. Why do people have to attach more, like economics and equations and freaking like that? That to me, that doesn't make any sense. It's as if you were to use the word sky. Here's another example. Sky. If you say sky, well, people probably first start thinking about satellites and technology, when in fact there should be, and it just goes on and on and on. And then we wonder why people start getting sick. Well, maybe because instead of creating new words for new things, I think I've gone on a rant, but this might be. I mean, even if you were to use jibba jubba or whatever, just create a made up new word. Attach whatever you're going to attach to it and we'll adopt it. But don't corrupt what already is. Anyway, so now how can people be weak while being strong? So, for example, I'll give an example of how strong men can be weak, and specifically because of the strength that they're doing, right? So you can go, for example, and do strength training, lift weights, right? Um, let's take the best case scenario where you reach close to 100% of your genetic potential. That is still pretty hardcore. Yeah. But are you taking into account the fact that it is putting extra stress on your joints and so on? You might start being high maintenance in terms of if you want to keep that muscle mass, so on and so forth. Now, if unfortunately you're in a position where doing all of that maintenance and so on and so forth, maybe you're aging, you're getting to like 60, 70 as well. Some of the people that I've seen are in the best shape, and probably even from like insurance standpoint and or medical assessment and prediction standpoint, they probably they have the best look or prediction on that. People that are not absolutely bulked up, and stuff like that. It's usually people that are more on the thinner side, not malnourished or anything like that, but the organs in your body, so on and so forth, have to provide for the mass that you are. Just because your muscle mass and so on, your skin, all of that gets bigger, your organs are not going to get any bigger. If your circulatory system, if the length and width of your veins get bigger, your heart is not going to get bigger. So now you've got a larger system, but the same pump. Does that make any sense? So that's how you become weaker. Of course, you're better off being stronger in terms of muscle mass and ability, but there is limits to these things. Obsessing about it is yet another weakness. And just how I've explained this about men. Now, so the strength being the weakness. Now imagine softness and femininity, exaggerating on that as a man. That is absolutely obvious. I'm not even going to get into it. We all know about it. We all see it out there. Now, what about just in the mirror, as it be, or just next door, as it be? And I'm not picking on my neighbors. They're fine. But I'm saying about the ladies that some of them obsess about being super masculine, whether they some do it physically, strength training, or others do it from like an executive and a leadership and da la la la. So even building on your own strengths has a limit, and you can become weaker by overdoing it. Even if that weakness shows in different ways, maybe in the long run, you shorten your lifespan or whatever it is. And then the obvious, if you try to grow or improve on traits and physicalities that you don't even have. And I've said this time and I've used this analogy many times, which is like taking a Ferrari, right? And going and jacking it up and putting like monster truck wheels on it and all of that. Does that make any sense? Because it's lunacy. It's absolute lunacy. And I hope the Italians and the next in line after uh, Enzo are not going to pick on me, because I genuinely like the fact that they look well after their brands and their products, and don't allow any uh, you know genuine incapacitated to go and crash them. So yeah, that's where it's at with these things. And how much more you know how much more of this strength strength is going to be pushed on us, and how much more are people going to accept? I can only do so much. Just being one amongst the not so many. And I'm all for staying decentralized and keeping respect, dignity, and civility as it be, right? Not going out and protesting and gathering up and using everything to create more chaos and bring about more destruction and bullshit like that. So there you have it. I think I'm going to end it there. Have a good night. All the best. Well, to the ones around this neck of the woods, good day and good afternoon for others.